Welcome back to Edgework, part of the Hammer Betting Network. I'm Zack Phillips, joined here on this Wednesday morning by Alex Moretto, Matt Alber. So kind of you to join us here this morning, Alber. Out for golfing, in from golfing. It's like you don't want to do the show, but then you're too scared of the weather. You joined us here today. What the hell was up with that?
Thanks, Moretto. You take one look at the weather forecast in New York this morning, and that pulled the plug on some golf real quick here. Was not going out there in a 34-degree wind chill this morning.
You got to do it for the love of the game.
Just shaking your head. You're like, all right, this is
nothing.
Like lake and boat weather.
Nothing.
I golfed game one of the playoffs last year, Alber. Game one of the playoffs last year, it was a blizzard outside. I was dialed in. Doesn't matter. For the love of the game.
And then the Leafs golf game 1 or round 2.
Okay.
Canadians were golfing.
That was some low-hanging fruit, man. You set yourself up for that one.
Didn't need that.
The Habs were golfing in the middle of February.
All right, let's not open the show like this. Come on, we don't need to be so hostile. And we're gonna get into the games here today. We got a bunch ahead of us on the schedule tonight. 4 games that we'll break down. We'll get to the anytime goals to score parlay at the very end. If you round robin last night, you would have won a little bit of money at least. So hopefully people did that. But before we can get into anything, I want to remind everybody that today's show is sponsored by FanDuel. And the NHL is back, and FanDuel is bringing more action than ever because everyone knows hockey just hits different. Load up a power play with the hottest same-game parlays found on the Parlay Hub. Place them up and follow your bets with player prop tracking or bet on the fly with the Pulse. The hunt for the cup starts here. Get more from the NHL with FanDuel, North America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can kick off season with $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet and you'll get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Disclaimer, please play responsibly. You must be 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600. That's 1-866-531-2600 or visit connectsontario.ca. All right, let's start with this. Just maybe not necessarily bet recaps in terms of what went on in each individual games, but what happened for us yesterday on our best bets given out. Terrible day. We push on the Vegas Capitals under 6. We push on the Devils Canes under 6. Lose Blues money line. Lose the Kraken Predators under 6, and lose Columbus money line. No bueno. 5 picks. We did not win one.
It's all right, guys. I'm back. I'm back. I won't leave you guys again. I might have to do 5 days a week. I was planning on doing 4 days a week. Might have to up that to 5 this year. The Blues suck. Thank you, Jordan. Yep, the Blues suck.
What happened, Alber?
One game or anything.
That's your team.
It's my team. They got
double best bet on the Blues. What the
Gustafson.
fuck happened yesterday, guys?
You know, it's really hard to win games when the other goalie's actually scoring a goal. He doesn't really.
It was empty nets. Empty nets. Don't make that like. Don't make that like that was like a. No. Don't make that like that was like he fired on the second period. Yeah. What the hell is that? Come on, Albert. That's a BS excuse.
That was why they lost. I said it doesn't happen very often when the other goalie scores that you win. That was no bueno. I think the only one out of those that we probably deserved was the Devils under that was scoreless at least through the first. But yeah, rough day. Hopefully a little better.
I can't believe you said that. Oh, it's tough to win when the other team's goalie is scoring. What is 3-1 already?
No, the one that actually
for me to say, I didn't watch
the one that actually deserved to win was the Blue Jackets. Columbus thoroughly outplayed the Panthers. Columbus should have won that game. That was the one that deserved to win. I was on the only one of those plays that you guys gave out yesterday that I was on was the Vegas under 6, so that pushed. That did not deserve to win. That was a lucky push. That should have flown over.
Then we had one lucky push, one unlucky push. Probably those 2 goals.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that opening ceremony that they did in Columbus last night?
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. Obviously sad situation, but that was pretty awesome way to open it up. For sure.
Yeah, they did that. They did that right.
Should have been like -800 or something. Didn't even think of that.
Well,
this guy.
You know what? I didn't hear you give that out yesterday, Zach.
I'm also pretty sure. Check it. I think Florida won it.
Is that how they graded it after it kind of went over to I think it was
Bennett? Yeah. So
I'm curious how that was graded. If
Moretto, imagine this guy gave out -800 on that, and then they graded it.
I mean,
half of North America is like trying to fight off tears during the ceremony, and Alber's trying to fire on a face-off bet. I mean,
Alber's calling show sponsor FanDuel and give me my money back.
Just tweet at their social team and nonstop. That's definitely the route to go if you ever need that.
Oh my God, Alber. Okay. Let's just get right into games here today. Also, by the way, I did save the Oilers season last night. Charles bringing up early tweet after I think the first period when they were down 3-0, and maybe second period. I thought they might go 0-82. Some people were asking me, could they go 0-82? They saved it. No 0-82 in Edmonton. Good for them. 4 games on the schedule.
It might be in Vancouver though.
You want to talk about that quickly?
In Vancouver. I mean, we don't have to. Like, I think they'll be fine. Ultimately, they haven't played necessarily poorly, and I'm pretty high on Tampa, so I think that's obviously a tough spot for them last night. And just blowing leads, like really, just those blown leads is what's concerning. But I mean, that's not something that you think will stick. You can kind of patch that stuff up. But they need some better goaltending. Hopefully Demko can be back soon, because with Demko, this team ceiling is really high. Without him, I don't think you can take them too seriously.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Okay, let's get to games. Also, send your goal scorers in here for tonight. We go 3 for 7 last night and some bigger ones. We end up hitting on Evan Bouchard. We hit on Braden Point, and who's the other one that we hit on? We had 3 there, guys, last night. Third was Sillinger, courtesy of eColts. Should have known that. Got a text from him.
Who was Bouchard from?
Right away.
Some idiot in the chat yesterday, I think.
Yeah, you're welcome. This guy's victory lapping a +300 Sillinger. How about a +450 Bouchard? Come on now. Come on.
And he did kind of score 2. He scored the one earlier that got called back on goalie interference.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with the first game. Sabres Penguins. Pittsburgh hosting Buffalo here tonight. The Penguins are -128. The Sabres +106, +104 to the over 6.5. Thoughts on this one, Albert? Go to you right away.
Are the Penguins like bad? Are the Sabres any good? I think this is right around the pick'em range. I think I would need a better number to get on Buffalo here than +106. Like, I think I'd probably need +120 or better to get on them, but I'm certainly not interested in the Penguins. Total, I think, is fine. I'm not on this game, but I think the number's right in range at this point. If for some reason Pittsburgh does get hit and Buffalo gets back up to 120, I think I would take it, but I'm not interested at these 106, 110s.
Moretto, you had some agreement there.
Yeah, I agree at 106. But there are better prices available. I'm fine. I don't need a +120 personally. I played it at +1. Well, I played it at +119, but there's +117, +118, +115s in the market. I am fine with those. If anyone wants to play those, if anyone has access to those, I wouldn't say it's widely. I mean, those numbers are technically at widely available books. Yeah, 110 is more widely available, which I probably wouldn't play it at. I'd probably want like a +115.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess for the sake of tracking, we can hold off for now, but I think that everyone should have access to that. There's a +119 and a +112 that I think most people should have access to. That, you know, but yeah, I think the market supported Buffalo a little bit this morning, which I agree with. Total wise, I would lean towards an under, but I think we're not kind of getting the price that I would have liked here. But Sabres for me, I still think Pittsburgh's wildly overrated. Montreal really let that game. They had a horrible third period the other night. That was just brutal. And I think we're getting a little bit of an inflated price on Pittsburgh because of it, but they haven't necessarily looked good. They beat up on a bad Red Wings team, and they beat up on a bad Habs team. Like, that's not a playoff teams that they're winning games against right now. Their other games they've gotten pretty much handled by better opponents, and I think that Buffalo classifies as a better opponent. So I think this number's a little bit off. I think it should be closer to a pickup, like Alber said.
Okay,
so I do agree that Pittsburgh's generally been overrated, but do you think that this has kind of been adjusted for in the fact that they were like minus 150 against Montreal the other day, and now suddenly back at home they're only minus 123? Obviously, Buffalo's better than Pittsburgh, but like I think most part this number's kind of been adjusted for that.
Somewhat, but I think the market's that was more of a comment on the market being really low on Montreal than it was on Pittsburgh, because the market has faded Montreal a couple times now this season. Like the Sens were minus 160 in Montreal too, so I think that was more a comment on Montreal than it was on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, okay. I agree, which I think is crazy.
Next game here on the slate tonight, LA Kings in town here in Toronto to take on Maple Leafs. LA plus 140, the Leafs minus 170 here. Plus 102 to the over 6.5 yet again. Moretto, thoughts on where we see this number currently sitting at right now?
Yeah, I like. I do have a bet on this game. I bet the under 6.5. I think we can. Yeah, minus 124 there, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, sure, we can track it at that. That's fine. Hopefully most people can get like minus 120 or better, which is pretty widely available right now, but we can track it at 124. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I do like the under a good amount here. I think this is going to move quite a bit either way, because I do think we're not going to get Nylander tonight. Even with Nylander, I like this under, but without him, I mean, that's obviously a huge boost for us with that bet. Yeah, this is a Kings team that's just been able to generate zero offense right now. They're just not getting anything going. And it starts with them, being a little bit weaker on the back end. Doughty, not just a big loss for them defensively, but what he helps them create in transition and what he helps them offensively do is significant. Not having him, we're really seeing the effects on both ends of the ice right now. They're having to kind of change their game quite a bit. Without him, play more of a defensive kind of shut it down style, lean into those centers and lean into try and winning the matchups and stuff and playing these tight games. The Leafs, the way they want to play right now, is also kind of conducive to these unders. This is not an over team right now. We're still getting Leafs games priced as if this is the same team as last year, but they have clearly changed the way they want to approach these games. And that's shown early in the year. They're not giving up a ton defensively. Their defense has held up pretty well. Goaltending's been good. Offensively, they're not generating a bunch of chances either. So I think right now, while we're still getting these 6.5s, I anticipate being on a lot more Leafs unders early in the year until the market starts to adjust.
It definitely is a tighter, slower style of hockey for the Leafs right now. Okay, so under 6.5. Moretto, I grabbed it at minus 120. Look across to the BetStamp app where we're tracking there. There seems to be enough numbers in that range for a minus 120, and it's also kind of a middle point of what we're seeing on some of the numbers that are available in the market as of right now. So I think that that's fair to track it at that minus 120 for us here right now. Alber, there's a lot of stuff Moretto just kind of outlined about this.
Can we just team. Before you do, I want to just address these comments. Yeah. That it's aside from the fact that yes, they scored 7 goals. Obviously, outlier games happen regardless. They generated 1.4 expected goals at 5-on-5. Yeah. They did not generate. That was a horrible goaltending performance by the Sens. Obviously some power plays in there. Like that was not a 7-goal outburst from the Kings offense and suddenly they're back. That was another slog of a game where everything they put on net started to go in. So yeah, I think that's another reason why we're getting a bit of an inflated total here.
And Darcy.
They also didn't give up a ton either. Like they gave up 2 expected goals at 5-on-5. Like it really was a pretty low event game. Like Kemper was horrible. Forsberg was horrible. It was just a terrible goaltending performance.
Okay.
Just took most of what I was going to say. Yeah, that literally just took most of what I was going to say right out of my mouth. I agree completely. Like that 8-7 game is not an indication of how that game was played whatsoever. Like Darcy Kemper's letting in slap shots from the blue line from Zack McEwen. Like that was just, I don't know if they all went out clubbing the night before or something, but.
Oh, well, probably not in Ottawa, and there's not really much to do there. And they got to stay in a rink and a farm 45 minutes away from the city. So I would say probably not.
But yeah, I mean, like obviously the Kings want to play a slower style of game like that. They don't want to get into those 8-7 games. And like honestly, after you play one of those, there's going to be some kind of emphasis on, hey, like let's lock it down a little more. Now we're playing a Leafs team, some high end skill. Like it's just kind of the nature of how the game works. Like they're going to want to play a much lower event game tonight. So I'm kind of looking at like maybe a -115 for the under, but I agree that's the only way I'd look here.
Before we go off of this game, I want to kind of give you guys an opportunity to have this discussion on air, and I'm curious what your thoughts are as well now where we're at. We had this kind of bubble up in the Edgework group chat the other day, but thoughts on the LA Kings? I mean, this obviously kind of relative to what we're talking about for tonight's game, but projections on who they are as a team, what they would be going forward, the loss of Drew Doughty, Moretto, you and Alber kind of seem to be on opposite sides of the fence here when it came to what this team is this season.
Yeah, I still like the Kings overall. I still think they're a wild card team. I don't think the Pacific is particularly strong right now, the way Vancouver looks without Demko. Obviously, if they get Demko back, that changes things quite a bit. But I don't think this is a team that's got a deep playoff run in them. But like, I love Byfield. I think he's going to take a major leap this year, even though necessarily it hasn't been the best start to the season. He's unreal, and Danault and Kopitar are still very, very good despite getting a little bit more up there in age. If they can just keep things at like 500 until Doughty comes back, which I think they should be able to do, then I think they'll be fine. But that being said, the goaltending situation is pretty bad. I know. I mean, Riddick I think is maybe a little bit better than Kemper at this point. Like Kemper's range is just insane. Like he has horrible games, and then he has these games where he can stand at his head. There's just no consistency there. I don't know how you kind of count on that, but yeah, overall I think the team is okay. I think that they're still a wild card team, but I know that maybe Albert disagrees.
I mean, do I think it's more likely they make the playoffs than not? Yes. I actually bet them to miss the playoffs. I think I'd have to look. I think it was right around 195. I just think there are so many teams in the West right now that are kind of in contention that you're going to have a few solid teams miss. Like Seattle's playing pretty well to start the year. Like I still think I do think the Blues will be around that mix. Like the Wild are going to be somewhere around there. Like who knows if we're just totally off on the Flames and they kind of keep it up and around there. Like I still expect the Canucks to be there. Like Vegas will be like, there are so many, Utah, Winnipeg, there's so many teams in the West that are going to be around that bubble line that like, I still think at the end of the year, there's going to be one or two teams that we're really expecting make the playoffs out West that we're going to be like, holy shit, how did the LA Kings miss the playoffs? How did the Vancouver Canucks miss the playoffs? So like someone like that we're just not expecting that I think the Kings to miss the playoffs is still a pretty good bet here. Moretto, I'm willing to go head to head on that if you want.
Sure.
You got to give me some kind of odds because I'm taking like a -1.
Oh my god! I just gave you the point the other night. Now you want odds again?
Yeah.
Oh
okay, so I'll give you a better price.
Me.
But I'm taking 1 point is not worth a +190 dog. Give me the actual market price.
No,
we won't know Viget. We won't know Viget. Give me the actual number then, and we'll call that good.
Sure.
Okay, you guys will sort this out and then sort this out after, and then let me know.
Yeah, 1 point's not worth a +190. Come on.
Oh my god. I'm seeing here Joseph Woll's taking shots.
Stolarz is gonna start though.
Stolarz is gonna start.
Yeah,
for
Stolarz.
sure.
He was first off
he
the
just
ice.
got confirmed.
David Alford tweeted that out like a few minutes ago.
Okay. Did not see that there come across. All right, nice. All right, next game on the schedule here tonight. Avs Bruins. Avalanche hosting Boston. Colorado -120. The Bruins +100 on FanDuel. Total of 6.5. -104 to the over. -118 to the under right now. Alber, what are your thoughts on this game tonight? Do you have any bets for us?
The question for me right now is, can I stomach an under with this Avalanche goaltending situation? And I don't know if I can right now. That's the only possible way I can look. I mean, also, like, do we know who's going to play for the Avs tonight? Do we know if Devon Taves is in yet? I think he's a game time decision is what I just saw. So right now we got to wait. I may end up on this under. I'm not overly interested in either side here. But yeah, this is definitely kind of a wait and see with the question marks at this point.
You waiting here as well?
Yeah, it's true. You literally can't do anything without knowing whether Devin Taves is going to play or not. Like, he's too valuable to that team, especially the way they've been struggling defensively. Well, not even struggling defensively, because like they're more struggling to keep the puck out of the net. But obviously having Devin Taves means you're going to be able to limit shots a bit more. Without him, they're not going to be able to limit shots. They're going to be like what Killington gets promoted to the first pairing at that. Like, it's bad without Taves. They need him. Shillington. Yeah. Sure. Well, whatever you want me to call him. Yeah, I think that you have to wait and see what's going on there. I do agree that like I want to get on some Habs unders at one point, because they're not playing like insanely high event hockey. The Bruins are playing like way low event hockey. That game against Florida was also misleading the other day, that final where nothing was generated in that game. That was like a snail's pace. That was a brutal game. I watched a good amount of that. That was a brutal game to watch. So yeah, I do lean unders with both of these teams, but the way you're getting goaltending right now from Colorado, and like with Devon Taves being game time decision, all the other guys they have out, like Drouin's out, Lekkonen's out, Nichushkin's out, Landeskog's still not playing. Like, it's just a mess in Colorado. I would lean towards Boston if Taves doesn't play for sure. I would probably hop on the Bruins as is, but again, market's like kind of adjusted a little bit at this point, and if you're on screen later and they come out for warm-ups and Taves isn't there, or he's not taking line rushes, or he's not on the ice, then try and jump on the Bruins at I'd say like maybe like plus 105-ish or better if it's still there at that point. I'm not sure. Might just be one of those you miss out on completely.
Right. All right. Final game of the night here. Let's take a look at the Utah Hockey Club and the Anaheim Ducks. Utah minus 130 on the road. Anaheim plus 108. Total of 6.5 plus 106 here on FanDuel to the over. Minus 130 to the under right now. Is it just me, or does it feel like this Utah Hockey Club has like a new, refreshed outlook on every time I see their name? It feels like it's just not like this like dumpster fire game that we're gonna get when it was Arizona. Like, I see this Anaheim Utah, I'm like minus 130. It's like, wow, why isn't this like minus 200? Anaheim stinks. It's like, well, it is still the Arizona Coyotes team. I like have to kind of remind myself, but it just feels different a little bit now. What are your guys' thoughts on this game tonight and where we see this total currently sitting at, Alber?
I actually kind of low-key like the Ducks, especially kind of as I look at the year, but in a bigger dog role. Like, I'm not sure that this is necessarily the role I want to play them in. It's certainly Anaheim for nothing. Like, I'm not letting Utah minus 130 here. I'm definitely closer to the Ducks, but I don't have anything as of yet.
Okay, Moretto, do you got anything?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I agree with the Ducks that I think that's the right side in this game, but I know I honestly like that group, that top nine. Like Zegras, we rip on him quite a bit, and for good reason. But like outside of that, McTavish is a horse. I really like that team, honestly. I really like their group up front, like Troy Terry, Carlson's awesome, and I think they're gonna be a little bit feisty this year, especially in these dog roles. This is their home opener. We probably see them, come out with some real juice here. That being said, I just don't think you're getting the number you want to get right now to back this Ducks team. I do agree with Alber in that regard. Something to monitor, though, as we go forward. Almost kind of hope they lose this game so you can keep getting some better prices. But I like the over. I'm on the over in this game. I think this one will just do a half unit. I'm not quite as thrilled with the price as maybe some of the other two that I played so far. But if we can track that I think it's pretty. I don't know. What would you say? These sixes minus 120s are, I think, fairly widely available. Hard to say. I'm curious if everyone in the chat can get it.
Yeah.
But if you can, which I think you should be able to get a minus 120 at 6, then I like the over there for a half unit. Yeah, I mean, I know I just talked about Utah and their regression and their shooting regression, and they got shut out the other day, but we're at a point now where I think this Ducks team is being undervalued as the team that I think they're going to be, which is a higher scoring team and more of a high event hockey team. Dostal played unreal against the Sharks, which made that game look a lot more low scoring and low event than it was, because there were a ton of chances back and forth in that game. That was a pretty wide open, fun game. And then the Vegas game the other night, Anaheim generated a bunch. They just weren't able to kind of capitalize on their opportunities. I do think the explosion's coming maybe here on home ice against a Utah team that now is without Sean Durzi. That's going to be a big loss for them on the back end. He's going to be out for a bit. So yeah, I think if you can get an over 6 here at minus 120, which you should be able to get, that is a good bet, in my opinion.
Yeah. And we talk about like those the Utah kind of shooting percentage outlier, right? Like the Ducks are shooting like a little over 4% right now, and they have like a 96 save percentage or something. Like you touched on with Dostal. Like both of those kind of even out. Like I don't think, and I know last year we played like a lot of unders on the Ducks. Like I don't think this is the same Ducks kind of team kind of makeup. Like I don't think they're going to be that same low event team that they were last year. But you do kind of talk about like all the young players they have up front. I mean, they got some young players on the back end too. So I just think like this is one of those teams, like kind of similar to how I talked about the Flyers, where it's like, yeah, I think they're going to be feisty in those big dog roles. But once you start getting into this, all right, plus 120-ish range, it becomes a little more like, I don't really know if I wanted to do that. So I think like a spot that this team that I'm looking to play at is like when they are the bigger dogs, because I do think there's such a high variance level with this team.
I also really like that first power play unit, and they haven't scored a goal yet this season. They only got one opportunity against Vegas. So it's narrative, but like on home ice, usually maybe the power play gets a few more opportunities with the crowd, kind of calling for stuff. I think that power play unit is pretty good, and I think they should get more chances here to put the puck in the net against a very average Utah penalty kill. So yeah, I do. I like the over here.
And also, Connor Ingram's not exactly having a hot start to the year. I do think we see him tonight.
He's been bad. Yeah, he's been bad. He's been bad so far.
There you go. Jordan updating. Craig Brube says Nylander game time decision. Kevin also asking, what would you need to play the Ducks? As we just kind of brought it up on screen, plus 108 here on FanDuel. Where's the number got to go to for you to jump in?
I was looking personally like a 125, 130.
I'd play it for 120, which I think you can find it. Yeah. Maybe not, but it could get to 120. I think we could see 120. The market really is supporting Utah right now. We saw them get backed even against the Devils on Monday too. So the market really does like Utah right now. I think if you wait it out a little bit, might see it get there.
And the other thing with Utah, and I know we touched on this off air, I don't know if you could hear that really loud horn right outside.
Yeah, I could.
Heard that one.
With Utah, right? Like I do think, especially the beginning part of this year, there's definitely kind of it's one of those weird things where they just kind of came over from Arizona. They have to deal with all this new city stuff. Obviously, you have like a crazy start to the season, kind of being at home in front of like the brand new fans. I just think this team is not really one that I'm necessarily trying to get involved in their games super early. Like I think there's kind of that emotional high of kind of starting the season right in front of brand new fans. Now you go off on this road trip. So I think when I look at it, like their games right now, like unless I see a really good number, like for the most part, I'm kind of trying to stay off it. Because again, I just think the variance with them is so high at the beginning of this year with just everything that's gone on there.
All right, let's get to our anytime goal scorer parlay. This one should be easier for us, a little bit more concise. Maybe we can grab someone from each game. Took suggestions from the chat throughout the entire show here today. If you guys still have any, make sure to send them in now. If you're seeing any games that weren't mentioned, send them in and we'll try to bring them up on the show here as well and say yes or no, whether we're going to include them. I think ideally for today's, we finalize it at 4. Like that's the cap. We go to 4. Game? One from each game, and then we have something to cheer for throughout, and everyone in the chat can kind of root along with us. Let's start with DW. How do we like Crosby to get a goal tonight? So, obviously, we need a price on this. Crosby plus 160. FanDuel.
I don't think that's...
I mean, I'd rather back a Sabres player since I'm on the Sabres.
I was thinking the same thing. Right. Looking at some of these numbers, I agree that I like a few Sabres better.
Okay. Let's say no. We'll stay off of that one. If anyone else has anyone else, excuse me, in the Buffalo game, send it in here. This is gonna be the one Moretto maybe not like, but Peter Panic, our friend, it feels like AM34 night. And Matthews 2+ goals, plus 390 at the show sponsor. I'm thinking we don't put a 2+ in the anytime goal scorer parlay. That might be a little aggressive. I think it's at minus 135.
It's minus 135, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I just don't think we can.
We're not getting to like 1,500 to 1 with the minus 135. You know.
Yeah. I think that's a no. So if anyone else has anything for the first two games now, send those in here because we've got a bunch of suggestions for the last two games. And we can kind of break those down and see what we get to. Let's start with this. Brian, Charlie McAvoy, anytime goal plus 650. There is another suggestion here in the chat for this game. So I'm going to also throw that one out there and then you guys can let me know. Justin, Pasta plus 135. He brings it up again. Pasta plus 135.
And Grant also brought up Pasta. So I think
feels like
there's some real Pasta momentum. I think maybe we should put Pasta in there.
I think we should throw it in there.
Pasta plus 135 is
plus 120
no-brainer.
On
plus
FanDuel,
120.
no?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus 120. Yeah.
Fine.
We'll go with it. We'll put it in. Doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. He's just got to score.
You bet players, not numbers, right?
bet players, not numbers.
Bet teams, not numbers.
Okay.
If it wins.
Let's circle back to the Buffalo game. We've got another suggestion here. 2. Casey Middlestat, or not? That's not the Buffalo game. Sorry. Dylan Cousins and JJ Peterka.
I'm down for Cousins.
Those are the two. Cousins.
Yeah, I'm down for Dylan Cousins.
Okay. Dylan Cousins added in here. And then we've got some other ones.
Best price in market, I think, in FanDuel right now.
Yeah.
Too.
Sorry, I was staying
muted. Plus 310. That's by far the best price here. Yeah.
I'm totally on board with Cousins. That was kind of the one I was looking at with Buffalo anyway.
Okay. Dylan Cousins added. And then we've got Josh Stone, Moretto's boy Zegras, and Middlestat are some other suggestions for some of the other games. Where do you guys come in on each of the... I guess Middlestat is out because of the Avs game there, so we already took Pasta. So Doan and Zegras.
I'm down for Zegras. Plus 340.
340.
This is like his showboating time to shine. Home opener against the Utah team. Like, he smells blood right now. It's point night.
Okay. Any other ones? Anything you guys are interested in for this?
We need one in the Leafs game.
There was one sent here in the chat here late. Two. Okay, there we go. Leferrier. I never know how to say this one. Absolute fumble fuck every time. Leferrier plus 310. And the other one is Kempe plus 190.
So Leferrier is plus 400 at FanDuel, which is
nice, very
good considering where the rest of the market is. Kempe is plus 190, also very good considering where the rest of the market is. So I love Kempe. I think he's extremely underrated. Yeah, I really
think I like Kempe here. Yeah, I like Kempe. Okay, there you go. That's it. 4 in here. Obviously, play these responsibly, but taking a look at what we've got for what the price is. 4 legs. David Pastrnak, Dylan Cousins, Trevor Zegras, Adrian Kempe. We've got 4 players tonight, 1 from each game. The
best part is if these go 3 for 3 and the last one loses, then we get to see a Moretto rant tomorrow that Zegras cost us.
Yeah, which will be
future
entertaining
Montreal
as
Canadian,
well.
Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, also highly entertaining. $10 pays $1,000. I like that. I think that this is good. This is the most realistic. Yeah, this is the most realistic one we've pieced together here so far. $10 pays $1,038. 4 legs. Let's do it. As for the rest of our best bets, so just a reminder: Pastrnak in the Bruins Avs game, Cousins, Sabres, Penguins, Zegras, Utah, Anaheim, Kempe, LA, Toronto. There you go. There's our 4. Let's go to our best bets that we've got for tonight. 4 games. We only have 2 best bets. First, we have the under 6.5 full unit minus 120.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Never mind. Yeah. 2 best bets, not 3. Yeah.
Hey Zach, can you? Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Utah just got hit. Can you pull up the Ducks price and see where we can get for best on the Ducks right now?
FanDuel's at 122 right now.
We didn't lock that in yet, did we?
Nope. We got 126 and 130s elsewhere. The market really likes Utah.
That's what I was.
I'm good.
Say.
I'm good to go there.
I'm good to go on there too. Yeah, I think you can find a little better if we shop around, but 122, I think we can.
I just bet at plus 141. Wow, Utah's taking a ton of money right now.
Yeah.
Are you guys noticing a trend or anything this year with this? I mean, we talked about it yesterday, how like that St. Louis game we watched and then all of a sudden got smacked. Like, I'm not talking about it got moved. It got smacked across into another dimension. We had minus 110 on the show live, even just at our show sponsor here, FanDuel, went to plus 108. Is this something you guys are noticing frequently? Is it something that you're having to kind of time differently on your bets? Like, what's going on with the NHL market this year?
The timing is actually the toughest part about it, because the market is not firing based off like news or anything that comes. It's not like limits are up and now all of a sudden they're firing. Like, normally there's like, when the limits increase, you'll see the money come in, then you'll see the limits increase again, you'll see money come in again. Limits are increasing, nothing's happening, board staying still. It's just the most random times that like some of these games are getting hit. It's weird. Market's really firing on some of these at like very strange times. I don't know what necessarily is prompting some of this stuff. I think, I watched yesterday's show too. You saw so money was equally confused with the money that was coming in on the Wild, or at least the timing of it. Not even just like why the money. If there's market disagreement, there's market disagreement. That's fine. That's going to happen. It's just the timing of why is it coming in now? So definitely a little bit strange. I don't know what's going on right now. It was the same thing on Monday with some of those afternoon games, like an hour before puck drop, hour and a half before puck drop, just lines are just getting steamed into oblivion, and nothing happened to prompt that. Like, limits didn't move, no news came out. It was just random timing, people entering the market. So something to keep track of. But yeah, I don't know. Some of these moves have been very they've been telling of what happens in the game, but also like not consistently. There have been a couple of these crazy moves that have just been way off too, obviously. So I don't know, something I'm monitoring, but like I have no real explanation for it right now.
I kind of went on this little mini rant about it yesterday. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. Everyone's kind of just throwing different names out. Oh no, is it him? Is it him? It's nobody that everyone in this chat's gonna know. That I know for certain. I have no idea who it is, but like, yeah, the timing is just the weird part to me. Like the other day, right? Like you touched on the afternoon ones. Like we talked about yesterday. Like someone was betting Florida. They moved it like 25 cents an hour before a puck drop when Swayman was confirmed in. Like that's obviously not gonna cause a Florida move. Like yesterday with the Wild, like, okay, right after that move happened, like Eriksson Ek was announced out. We thought he might be playing. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just another originator. My guess is that it's somebody new working for a large group that's putting this in there. But again, I have no idea who it is. I think we're all maybe wanting to find out, but as of right now, like nobody seems to know. Because I've had people like message me on the side asking if I know who's betting this stuff. And I don't. I wish I did.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because we've seen this now kind of a couple of times. Like this is a pattern now here where you're watching stuff move drastically across.
Nashville, my mind is another one.
Yeah. Nashville took a ton of money, and that got
up like minus 200 yesterday.
Yeah, and that wasn't
even funny. Like we're on the show, I was talking about like, I was talking about like, I think Nashville pretty solid bet, and that gets all the way up there and end up betting on Seattle.
Yeah, they got railroaded last night too. Like that final score was indicative of how that game went. They got dominated by Seattle. But did we not bet Sabres? Did I not bet? I guess the number wasn't widely available, right? There wasn't anything.
Yeah. No.
Right. Okay.
We can circle back to that game right now and see what it's at.
No, it's not
plus 106.
Hopefully these Magic Market people who are just steaming numbers to shit can get us a better price than the Sabres, I guess. I did bet the Sabres, I guess, but we didn't have the numbers available here for. Okay, fair enough. That's why I was confused. You said 2 best bets, not 3. I was like, wait, I thought we had. No. But no. Okay, never mind.
No, you said to people go and find the numbers because they're out there, but that was not a best bet.
Couldn't lock it in because it wasn't available. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, I mean, with these later moves, like there's definitely more opportunities to bet a little bit later in the day than I feel like there was even last season. Like I feel like even you go back to last year, we're on the show, like, all right, we kind of see what the numbers are at 10:30, 11 a.m. You're not often seeing these 20, 30 plus cent moves later in the day that for no reason that we're kind of seeing a decent amount to start the year.
And we are seeing a little Anaheim buyback here too, which is like it got all the way to it got all the way to plus 143, and now we're back to plus 134. I'm sure that'll keep going back down a little bit. So
yeah, I agree.
It's weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want Anaheim, I would try to get on it sooner rather than later here.
And someone also messaged me a couple days ago and asked if Joey Pucks is moving the market. I promise you, Joey Pucks is not moving the market.
Yeah.
So,
it's let's put it this way: it's nobody named Joey. At least on these games that we don't know who it is. If Joey's moving the market, everyone's going to know.
All right. Okay. Recap the bets here. We did just get to add another one. Alber, kudos to you for watching that one go and bringing that one up as well. We get another one in on the games today. So first, we got the Kings Leafs under 6.5 minus 120. That is from Moretto. Then we have now Ducks money line added plus 122. Moretto and Alber both want that one. And then finally, we have the over 6 minus 120 in that Ducks Utah game as well. That is Moretto. That is for a half unit as well. So just remember that. As for the goal scorer parlay, Pasternak, Cousins, Zegras, Kempe. $10 wins you 1,000 on that. We'll take a swing here tonight. 4, and as C-Max says, round robin. Round robin these. Hit the like button. Maybe Matt the Pigeon will make his bed properly. Yes, round robin. Keep them like that. Hit the like button as well. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And who knows? Maybe Alber will straighten those pictures out on the wall behind him. Maybe he'll make his bed.
I think the camera's sideways. They're definitely straight.
I don't know if that's better or worse, but yeah, fair enough. There you go. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in today. Hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. We appreciate you as always. Appreciate FanDuel, show sponsor. Continue to stay here. As Connor says, use your FanDuel boost on the goal score parlay too. Yes, good way to use some of those if that's how you want to play them. But thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. Only 4 games regardless. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck on your bets. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time for more picks, previews, and predictions.